welcome to What You Missed When You Didn't Exist. I am Corbett, and I am 54.
And I'm Lucy, and I'm 24.
And Lucy, it's getting close to that family time when everybody gets together, and of course, they want to do that one thing that they always do, fight.
Oh, I was going to say kill each other, but I guess fight is a bit more mellow.
Well, they're family. I don't want to kill them.
I would beg to differ.
But
Okay.
what you missed when you didn't exist was one of the better known fights on TV. Would you think Muhammad Ali and oh, okay, I can't think of a fight.
Wow.
I'm
Lame.
I know I'm such a letdown on that one. But what I'm talking about is a show called Geraldo. It happened
Geraldo.
in 1988. Geraldo. Geraldo was originally a correspondent, a news correspondent for ABC. And he would go out and tackle a lot of like insurgent fighting and following like the Afghani resistance against the Russians at the time, or
Physically tackle, or you're meaning like covering the topic?
so he would be in the field. He would be with them. He was like there.
But not
He
physical
was
tackle.
No. He
Okay.
was physically in the field. I would say he's probably the closest thing to a modern war correspondent because he was always in the trenches dealing with like what's going on in these guerrilla fights and this, that, and the other. So he was getting a well-known name. I think he did a bunch of 2020 like exposés and things that basically showed off like his ability to like dig deep. So naturally, the next progression for him was to get a talk show.
Okay.
And it was called Geraldo because he's so well known. Geraldo. And he honestly, he had some legitimate like reporting chops. I'm kind of confused why he went into this specific genre. Geraldo was a very well known and very popular show. It lasted almost, I think, 10 years, mostly because of the first year. And specifically, the fight we're going to talk about. So, for anybody who didn't know this show, feel free to look it up. It probably takes about 2 minutes on YouTube. But Geraldo Rivera would bring on different topics and different context. Essentially, he created what was the modern reality show type talk shows. I'm sure you've seen like the comedy of it, like, oh, is this the real father? Oh, she's a mother who gets abused by her children. It's sort
The
of the
Dr.
flip
Phil
flop.
kind of show?
Yeah, but he set the standard for what it was going to be. I don't know if that's
Oh.
good or bad, but
Okay.
where was it? I looked it up, and there was like a quick list of topics they had. Men in lace panties, men who like to wear women's clothing or women's underwear, kids who murder in the name of Satan. These are real shows, by the way.
Wow. Okay.
When the other woman is a man, teens who trade sex for drugs. Just about anything that was like, let's really reel them in. And specifically, there was a show he did in 1988, that was white supremacists. It was literally a congregation of white supremacists with skinheads, black activists, and the Jewish activists
Wow.
in the same forum, sitting on the same stage. And it was aggressive. And I don't know how to describe this other than it ends in a fight, which kind of sums it up. But basically, what was his name? Innes. Roy Innes was like one of the black activists at John Metzinger. John Metzinger is one of the Klan guys who was basically, he kept kind of jabbing at him, calling him, Uncle Tom, which is a bit of a slur nowadays, which kind of was then too. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
And he would keep needling him, jabbing at him until he got up. John Metzinger got up and roughs him a little. It all cuts loose. It just goes straight up. Everybody goes nuts. And specifically, Geraldo gets hit in the face with a chair. You can see the chair fly across the screen. So it's not like it's like what was it? The Japanese Congress going loose. It was wild, and it was good TV because they got ratings out of it. I get his point for doing it because it is flashy television. It's a conflict you're guaranteed to get people who want to watch. You're guaranteed to get people agitated and make them very animated and active. Unfortunately, it makes them incredibly dangerous to me. Geraldo became like a wild spin-off success after that. And he would always just put in these wacky shows with, somebody who's yelling this or that and the other. When the fight broke out, they of course cut to commercial. When they came back, Geraldo had like a well smashed nose. It was like bloodied, and he had to finish the show, and kind of like, I think they removed the Klansman who's kind of got the provocation going on, and he just kind of wrapped it up with a general dialogue, which I think set the tone for the Jerry Springer show, which was much more the "he's not my real daddy" type shows.
Yeah.
The show itself was, well, even I think even one of the producers confessed that they would coach people before they got on to make sure that they would lead in a certain way to make sure it was interesting and entertaining.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point being not so much that you missed it as much as no, you pretty much, that was the point.
Okay.
You missed it, and it was terrible. I wouldn't say it was great, but that became kind of the standard. After that, the 90s television talk shows were almost always going to be, let's get two sides who are polar opposites and make sure they're really close together. and,
Jeez.
and then just let it fly. I don't understand how professional wrestling never really took off like this, because it seems a little more straightforward, but maybe it's me. Anyway, I guess my question to you then would be, do you feel like you get fished in? Because nowadays it is like everything is like, let's polar opposite this person and this person and just go crazy. And do you feel like that you have a better discernment of that now, that it's like everywhere? Or do you think like, nah, it's been fine and everybody's great, which seems perfectly okay?
Well, I feel like when you were listing off the titles or the different episodes that had happened, it seemed almost like the clickbait that you see on YouTube videos or TikTok
Oh
videos,
yeah. Hmm.
which is so funny that you see that so early on because I'm sure that back then it was like, what? But now they take the clickbait episodes to the extreme. It'll be like, what? This dude slept with his mom? But it was like because he was sick and dying or something. And so she was taking care of him. So they were sleeping in the same bed. And so it's just like so dramatic for no reason at all, other than you need to see it.
Hmm.
So I guess in that sense, you're able to discern it a bit better. I wish that taking the polar opposites and putting them in the same room had a better outcome, just
Mm.
because I always feel like the whole point of it is so you can see both sides and maybe come to a mutual agreement almost. But I think maybe because we pull too far from each extreme, that it is hard to find that middle ground because both sides believe that they're right and there's no other option.
Well, in this case, you have like the white supremacists versus racial advocate or activists that are. I mean, there is no other way for them. That's the only way they have. They have no like. Because I will admit, on the not racist side, it still has a certain amount of racism to it, because black activists and Jewish activists are activists. Now, granted, they're activists for a reason, so
Yes.
I
Yeah.
get their fight, but at the same time, like, I have a hard time really wrapping my head around white activists, I guess,
Yeah.
because they're being held back so bad.
No, I think it's hard. If we're thinking about Thanksgiving in the way that we're thinking about Thanksgiving, I think most people dread those holidays because they have the certain family members that they can't talk to because
Uh,
they're just going to end up ruining Thanksgiving with their big fight. And so they just think it's better to stay quiet and just muster through it, which is hard because having those conversations can sometimes open people's eyes and they can even resolve some issues. I think we as a culture haven't learned how to properly have a healthy discussion because we see the extremes and the extremes aren't working out their issues. They're just ranting, saying their piece, and then not figuring out a solution.
say I think that's because people don't want to admit wrong.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. This could be wrong. They can't just take a step back and go, okay, maybe treating people like crap could be wrong. I don't see how. Like, I think it could be. But right now, I think it's just everybody wants to be right, and they can't not be right, so therefore they have to be right. And that's where you kind of fall into the place of, well, that's when you get hit in the face with a chair.
It takes a lot of humility to say that you were wrong, to go through that, and I think it mm,
Well, and you don't have to say you were wrong. Just to accept like there's another perspective that I may not have seen.
yeah, definitely.
I don't love everything on a political scale. I don't love everything about either parties, but I don't love the. I mean, it leaves a lot to be desired. How about that?
Yes. Yeah.
But I wish I could say like, because of my years of experience, I have figured out this.
Well, and I think it's even harder to say that with family. I guess you can talk to strangers a bit more and tell them whatever, because you're like, okay, I'm probably never going to see you again. So there's my 2 cents and bye. But
Mm,
with family members, you see them over and over and over again. And it can be harder to speak your piece because you like are worried that you could end those relationships almost, you know?
yeah, that's a good point. Like I said, related by blood. You can't get rid of that.
And blood only. That's it.
Blood only. You're gonna have different relationships in life, and I think we all tend to act and react to different people different ways. Because my son Riley, when I was out hanging out with him with my friends, he's like, "Whoa, you're a totally different person with your friends." Like, well, because I can say anything I want because they're close friends, and they will come back with saying whatever they want, and that's kind of how that works.
Yeah.
When I'm around you and my sons and everything, it's your family, so I have to react to you differently. I can't just slap you on the back of the head and like, you're an idiot, because that's gonna crush your your ego.
Oh
Although
man.
maybe that would help. Who knows?
Maybe. You never know.
But I will say, family wise, it is good to vent a little. I think. I mean, even if you don't want to fight, even if you don't want to cause a rift, if they don't know where you stand, then will stomp all over you.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, family is just terrible. I'm just saying that, like, talking with you, I would prefer you to tell me, like, I don't believe in this. Like, okay, well, I know not to talk to you about that unless I feel like I have to.
Yeah.
It just makes it simpler because you got things to do and so do I.
Yeah, that's true. I've actually been noticing a trend recently among, I don't know if it's Gen Z specifically or if it's maybe millennials, but
Mm,
since a lot of the newer generations have been going to therapy a lot more, and therapy has been telling people to cut off those relationships that don't bring them any sort of happiness, that a lot of people are actually cutting off family members, which is why, because I've been wedding planning. So that's why a lot of weddings have been getting smaller and smaller, just because they're doing these micro weddings with only the friends and family that bring them happiness instead of inviting your 10th cousin on your mom's side just because you're supposed to, like the proper thing to do.
I don't know. I would think the micro weddings just because it costs a lot.
Well, it does.
But yeah,
But also because you should only have the people that you want to be there because it's your wedding. It's not theirs.
I don't know if I would agree with cutting people out of your life. I mean, well, at the same point, there's people who are just going to make it terrible. I mean, yeah, I can see that. I don't know how that would be good therapy wise. Seems like you need to confront things to a certain degree.
Yeah, I think confronting helps, but I think, I don't know why. It's been a trending thing that you're just like, cut out people that don't make you happy, cut out people that don't make you excited. And that's why a lot of people have also been leaving their jobs that don't make them happy and just cause them constant stress because
Mm,
they are like, this brings me nothing but sadness and dread, and I need to go live my life. And so they've been quitting their jobs too.
yeah. Well, that I can agree with because a job you're kind of strapped to it, and if you're going to be rowing the oar, you might as well do it on a ship you like.
Yeah.
So I get that. But in the case of family, it's tough because I definitely had some conflicts with my dad, and I avoided by having to deal with him by living so far away that it was not easy enough to go deal with him. So that kind of worked out in a terrible way.
Terrible.
And I confronted my dad several times.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a non-ending situation, but it was never going to end well, and he never wanted to accept anything. So I will say, like, yeah, I can see just dropping it, but at the same time, it was not good because the conflict in my head And my dad's dead now, but the conflict in my head is still there. So
Yeah.
just because he's not around doesn't mean he's not around, and that's frustrating.
Yeah.
So I am no licensed therapist, so I guess uh,
It's hard because it's family, you still need that love and attachment. It's just part of being human. Is to just have
mm,
like people that care about you and that way you feel safe and protected. And even if you disagree with your family members on whatever it may be, I think just because you're family, like you'll still be able to protect each other and have each other's backs just because you are connected by blood. If you're fighting with your family for Thanksgiving or whatever reason, like just remember that they will probably still have your back no matter what.
I do feel bad that we're gearing this show towards Thanksgiving as a fight. As a kid, I really don't remember Thanksgiving being a fight all the time. It was always kind of a fun time, and you got all this crazy food because everybody would bring it all together. And I can say that most Thanksgivings I ever ran into, I never saw any chairs fly across, so that's kind of good. In
That's
that
true.
sense, Geraldo got it the hard way. But to be fair, he put dynamically polar opposite people in the exact same room, and that's just asking for it.
Yeah.
Granted, in that sense, Thanksgiving can be like that.
I think it depends on the family because you've
Mm,
got everyone back home for the holidays and it's Thanksgiving, so everyone wants to bring out their guns and go shoot up a turkey, or everyone's back together and tensions could be high, so they also start to drink a little bit more, so it's just a little wild.
I guess try not to let it get to you. It's, for one thing, it's just time. Time spent with family, and that can be good. It can be frustrating.
Yeah.
But eventually it will pass, and you'll be back to your life at the ship you hate, rowing that ship out to sea just like you always hate.
Jeez. Okay, Scrooge.
Uh, no. It's just a matter of time. Time will pass, and you'll move on, and things will keep happening because the world is always going to keep happening. The best advice I can give you for this is if you see somebody throw a chair, duck.
Yeah, duck is a good one. Oh, man.
So, for another episode of What You Missed When You Didn't Exist, instead of turkey this year, try duck.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thing that Roy Ennis said is something that I hope everybody in this country heeds. When someone calls someone a name, when someone attacks someone in a subway because they don't follow their particular belief, then it's not just the responsibility of the person attacked. It's not just the responsibility of the person being mugged. It's all our responsibilities.